Hi, I'm David Anderson. As you know, speed and quickness are crucial to athletic success in almost every sport. This includes not only breakaway speed, but the ability to rapidly accelerate, suddenly change directions, and quickly deliver or avoid a blow. For years, people have believed that speed couldn't be developed, that you were born with a certain amount of ability and that was it. But the key word there is ability. Athletes can improve their speed and quickness just as they can improve any ability by adhering to a well-conceived training plan. So how can athletes develop speed? Let's listen to Dr. George Dinteman, who has authored more than 30 books on speed improvement, health, and wellness.
First, everyone probably needs to develop a strong foundation of explosive power and strength through training programs such as weight training and plyometric training. Secondly, everybody needs to go through a testing phase and identify their strengths and weaknesses. And thirdly, they need to engage in the training programs that specifically remove these weaknesses. Programs such as sport loading, overspeed training, plyometric training.
Training programs such as those just mentioned will help your athletes improve their abilities in 5 key areas: quickness and starting ability, acceleration, speed endurance, stride length, and stride rate. In this video, we'll focus on those areas in 2 ways. First, we'll help you assess your athlete's speed and quickness through 5 tests. Through those tests, you'll learn which key areas your athletes need to especially focus on to improve. Next, you'll learn specific training methods and drills that will improve those 5 key areas. These training methods include strength and power training, sprinting drills, speed endurance training, sport loading, and overspeed training. You'll learn how each method of training can specifically improve an athlete's ability to run faster and quicker. And finally, we'll give you tips on how to incorporate speed training into your athlete's overall training program. The first step to improving speed and quickness is to assess your athlete's strengths and weaknesses. You can then use this information to shape individual programs. We'll show you 5 tests: the 120-yard dash, the leg press, leg extensions and leg curls, leg hops, and the quick feet test. These tests will help you assess the 5 key components we talked about: quickness and starting ability, acceleration, speed endurance, stride length, and stride rate. We'll show you how to conduct each test and how to interpret the results. And now our narrator Dan will guide you through the test.
Thanks, David. The 120-yard dash helps assess your athlete's starting ability, acceleration, maximum speed, and speed endurance. The main focus of this test is on acceleration and speed endurance. Have the athlete begin from a 3-point stance and sprint for 120 yards. Instruct the athlete to sprint all the way through the 120-yard mark. Record the times for each of the 3 40-yard segments.
4-1-4 for Dorian. 4 and a 4-1.
To assess the athlete's speed endurance, compare the second and third 40-yard segments. If the scores are the same, or nearly the same, the athlete is in excellent shape to sprint short distances repeatedly throughout a contest. If the athlete slowed down by more than 0.2 of a second in the final 40-yard segment, he or she needs to work on improving speed endurance. To assess acceleration, compare the first 2 40-yard segments. If the second segment is more than 0.7 of a second faster than the first segment, the athlete needs to improve his or her acceleration by working on ballistics and plyometrics. This test will determine the athlete's 1 repetition maximum for the leg press. This is an indication of the power and strength available in the legs to attain and maintain sprinting speed. You can use a universal, Nautilus, or similar leg press station. You can also have the athlete perform a free weight squat. Regardless of the equipment, the knees must be bent at right angles. The object is to locate the 1 rep maximum and divide the athlete's body weight into the total pounds lifted. This will reveal the leg strength to body weight ratio. This ratio indicates how easily an athlete can get and keep his or her body moving at high speed. The ratio is extremely important to speed improvement in short distances.
Push, push, push. Now, I think we got that last level there. Okay.
An acceptable ratio is 2.5 to 1. That is, an athlete should be able to press 2.5 times the body weight. At collegiate and professional levels, ratios of 3 to 1 and 4 to 1 are desirable. Athletes who score less than 2.5 to 1 need to work on functional strength and power to increase leg strength. The third test assesses the strength of the quadriceps and of the hamstrings. Training for speed improvement traditionally results in a greater strength increase in the quadriceps than in the hamstring group, and this imbalance is associated with injuries and slower sprinting ability. Hamstring strength is the weak link in sprinting and often needs to be increased. Use a weight machine, such as cams shown here, or universal, to determine 1 rep maximums for leg extensions, which assess quadriceps strength. Test each leg separately. Record the 1 rep maximum for both legs. Then find 1 rep maximums for the leg curls, which assess hamstring strength. Use a cam machine, as shown here, or a universal. Again, test each leg separately and record the 1 rep maximums. Divide the leg extension score into the leg curl score to find the ratio for each leg separately. For instance, if an athlete's right extension score is 50 pounds and right curl score is 30 pounds, the ratio is 30 divided by 50, which is 60%. Determine the ratios for each leg. The curl score should be at least 80% of the extension scores. If not, the athlete needs to work on functional strength and power. Also, compare the right leg scores to left leg scores. If one leg is considerably stronger in both areas, the athlete should work to strengthen the weaker leg. Right and left leg hops assess speed strength in each leg. They also assess the explosive power of the dominant leg and the non-dominant leg. High scores are also associated with higher stride length during the sprinting action. The athlete begins with a 15-yard flying start and hops one-legged for 20 yards. Time the hop. The athlete should go all out first on the dominant leg, then on the non-dominant leg. 2.5 seconds and below is excellent. 2.6 to 3 seconds is good. Athletes who score above 3.0 or who have a difference of more than 0.2 of a second between legs should use repeated hops or other plyometrics and weight training to improve speed strength and explosive power. The quick feet test assesses quickness and stride rate. Use a rope ladder or sticks set 18 inches apart. Taking short, quick steps, the athlete is timed over 10 yards. Athletes should pump their arms vigorously in a sprint arm motion and use very little knee lift while running the 10 yards. Start the stopwatch when the athlete's foot touches ground on the first step and stop it when he or she makes contact with the ground beyond the 10-yard mark. Have each athlete perform 2 trials and compare the fastest trial to the times on the screen. If athletes are slower than these times, they need to work on plyometrics and weight training.
After assessing your athletes through the 5 tests you've just seen, you'll know which types of training will most help them develop speed and quickness. However, realize that it is important to maintain a proper balance between improvement and maintenance in your approach to developing speed.
The object is to devote most of your time to the weakness areas. That doesn't mean you can totally neglect the areas where you already have acquired a maximum level or an optimum level. If you've obtained a certain level of strength and power, for example, adding additional strength and power may not improve your speed. But you don't want to lose any that you've acquired. So there is a need to be on some kind of a maintenance program to see that that doesn't happen.
Once a coach assesses his athletes, he evaluates that in context with what are the most critical elements of the sport. If it's a basic resource, such as speed and strength, how does that fit into what is needed on the field of play?
In this section, we'll show you training methods and drills in these areas: strength and power training, sprinting drills, speed endurance training, sport loading, and overspeed training. We'll tell you how each training method can improve speed and quickness. We'll show you correct techniques for drills and present sound principles for training methods. And we'll give you tips on using these training methods and drills in both off-season and in-season training. Let's begin with strength and power training.
Strength and power training includes weightlifting, plyometrics, and ballistics. Together, these form the foundational base for athletes to develop speed.
Developing strength and power to improve speed is kind of related to when I was back in high school many years ago. We used to hop up our automobiles. Why did we do that? We wanted to have more power, more speed, more quickness, so we could beat the next guy. So having more power and more quickness enables you to, in effect, hop up your body engine so you can play and run at higher levels of speed.
The Olympic lifts, the clean, the jerk, and the snatch, develop explosive power for action, while other weightlifting exercises help develop upper and lower body strength. Ballistic exercises help athletes receive and deliver power upon contact. The ability to deliver and absorb energy is fundamental to sports performance, and medicine ball drills help hone that ability. Plyometric exercises enable a muscle to reach maximal strength in as short a time as possible. Plyometrics focus on starting strength, which is the ability to instantaneously recruit as many muscle fibers as possible, and explosive strength, which is the ability to keep the initial explosion of a muscle contraction going over a distance against some resistance. At the conclusion of this tape, we'll give you more extensive information on resources covering strength training and plyometrics that are available from Human Kinetics.
Next up is sprinting drills. The following drills are designed to help the mechanics, strength, and power athletes need to produce maximum performance in sprinting. They're designed for athletes to use during a warm-up before a workout. We'll then show you some drills that are designed to be used as part of a workout.
To perform butt kickers, the athlete begins from a jog and swings the lower leg back to bounce off the buttocks. The upper leg shouldn't move much. The athlete should allow and not force the heel to come up to the butt. The wall slide is similar to butt kickers, except that the heel of the recovery leg must not travel behind the body. Imagine a wall of glass running down the back. The heel shouldn't break the glass. This action will produce knee lift without forcing the action. As in butt kickers, when this drill is done properly, the heel will bounce off the butt. To do the quick feet drill, athletes begin with a jog and then increase their stride rate so that they take as many steps as possible in a 10-yard interval. They jog for 10 yards and repeat. Emphasize quick turnover with the legs moving in front of, not behind or under, the body. The following 3 bounding drills are designed to develop the explosive leg power required in starting. They're stressful enough to be a workout or part of a workout. They are not designed to be warm-up or cool-down drills. Have your athletes begin from a slow jog and try to bound as high in the air as possible, emphasizing a high knee lift. They should land on the opposite leg and continue bounding down the field. Control the intensity of the drill by altering the height and the number of repetitions. beginners and heavier players should bound no more than 4 times on each leg and limit the height of the bound. Your athlete should have had experience with straight bounding before beginning inside bounding. The foot is placed laterally inside the normal landing position, and the body is projected up as well as forward. This drill is similar to straight bounding. Introduce it after your athletes have experienced straight bounding. In outside bounding, the foot is placed laterally outside the normal landing position, and the body is projected laterally as well as up and forward. The following drills are also designed to be used as a workout or part of a workout. Typically, your athlete should perform 3 sets of each drill. They should begin each of the drills on their toes and attempt to remain in this position during the drill. The cycling drill is performed while leaning against a wall, bar, or any support. One leg is cycled through in a sprinting manner. Emphasize keeping the leg from extending behind the body, allowing the foot to kick the butt during recovery, and pawing the ground to complete the action. 10 cycles with each leg make up 1 set. The athlete begins the down and off from a high knee position. The emphasis is to decrease the foot-to-ground contact by hitting the ground with the ball of the foot and getting off as quickly as possible. In turn, the effort on the ground should bounce the leg up into the high knee position. 10 down and offs make 1 set. The athlete performs the pull-through by extending the leg in front of the body like a hurdler and bringing the leg down and through ground contact in a power motion. 10 pull-throughs with each leg make up 1 set. To do the ladder drill, use a rope ladder with sticks 18 inches apart. The athlete sprints through the ladder as fast as possible, touching 1 foot down between each rung. Emphasize high knee lift and quick ground contact. 1 completion of the drill makes 1 set. The African dance is performed while the athlete runs forward, raising each leg to the side of the body as in hurdling, and tapping each heel with the hand. A 10-yard run equals 1 set. Have your athlete start the drill easily and gradually build intensity. The drum major is performed by running forward, rotating the leg inward to the midline of the body, and tapping the heel at the midline. A 10-yard run equals 1 set.
Now we're going to shift into a higher gear, moving from individual drills to training concepts. The next 3 components, speed endurance training, sport loading, and overspeed training, are critical to your athlete's speed improvement. Speed endurance training may not help you take a faster or longer step. However, it will prevent you from slowing down late in the game, at the end of a sprint, or after sprinting several times with little rest in between.
Speed endurance is easy to improve. Your athletes need to sprint short distances 2 or 3 times a week and record how many repetitions they sprinted, how far they sprinted, and how much recovery time they took between repetitions. The rest is easy. On each workout, simply increase the sprint distance and decrease the recovery time between repetitions. In 6 to 8 weeks, your athlete's speed endurance scores will improve. The following guidelines will help you devise the best speed endurance program for your sport. Sprinting is 90 to 95% anaerobic, and your athlete's training should reflect that. Aerobic conditioning gained through jogging has little or no effect on short distance speed. Athletes should sprint at maximum effort for short durations, 10 to 60 seconds. They should rest for a few minutes after each all-out effort. Use all-out sprints that cover about the same or greater distances than those normally sprinted in your sport. For instance, use 20 to 60-yard sprints in football, 10 to 30-yard sprints in basketball, 30 to 120-yard sprints in baseball, and so on. Pickup sprints are an easy, effective training program to improve speed endurance. Athletes gradually increase from a jog to a striding pace and then to a maximum sprint effort. Use a 1-to-1 ratio of the distance and recovery walk that follows each repetition. For example, athletes might jog 25 meters, stride 25, sprint 25, and walk 25. As athletes improve, these segments can increase to 120 meters. However, the majority of speed endurance work for most athletes should involve segments of 25 to 50 meter sprints, because the object is to train the fast twitch fiber and improve both conditioning and speed.
Sport loading is another effective way to improve speed. By sport loading, we simply mean adding a weight or load to your body or to the implements you use in your sport. Sport loading is designed to improve explosive concentric movements through the use of sport-specific drills.
Sport loading can be done in a number of ways, including weighted vests, harnesses, weighted sleds, uphill sprinting, and stadium stairs. The best vests are those that can be incrementally loaded with half-pound, pound, or 2-pound weights, with a maximum range up to 20 pounds for power endurance and a maximum of 8 pounds for quickness, speed, and power. Don't use the vest during highly technical aspects of the sport that require considerable precision. An example of a workout in a vest is 3 to 5 repetitions of 120 yards each in the following manner. Build gradually to 75% speed during the first 40 yards. Maintain that 75% for the next 40, and ease off in the last 40. You can have your athletes gradually increase this percentage over the weeks until by week 6 they reach 90%. The two-person harness is an affordable and effective tool for working on running techniques and sprinting. Two athletes of similar body weight and power use the same harness. One athlete provides the resistance, and the other provides the power while performing power starts at anywhere from 75% speed to maximum speed. Weighted sleds are another good way to sport load. The best weighted sleds are those that allow for quick and easy weight changes. Make sure you use a load that allows proper form and high-speed sprinting. Too much weight will cause your athletes to lose form and will prevent explosive movements. You can use a wide range of grades for uphill sprinting, but the grade shouldn't impede your athletes from running with good starting and sprinting form. In general, use steeper angles for starts and acceleration loading, and less steep angles for starts and speed endurance workouts. Stadium stairs or other stairs can be used in the same manner as hill sprinting. Try to locate stairs that have the same approximate incline, and make sure the steps are safe for training. Here's a good workout for all methods of sport loading. Repetitions beginning at 3 to 5 and progressing to 7 to 9. Sprinting or pulling distances beginning at 15 yards and progressing to 60 yards. And power starts beginning at 75% and progressing to maximum speed. These workouts are best when done once a week.
The final segment in our speed improvement program is overspeed training. The purpose of overspeed training is to increase stride rate and stride length by forcing athletes to perform at much higher levels than they're capable of without assistance. During overspeed training, they'll get their nervous and muscular systems accustomed to higher contraction rates.
We'll show 4 basic methods of overspeed training: towing with surgical tubing, downhill sprinting, high-speed cycling, and high-speed treadmill training. Athletes have improved their 40-yard dash times by as much as 0.6 of a second during an 8 to 12-week period using overspeed training. Your athlete should stick with an overspeed program for at least 8 weeks because training the neuromuscular system takes time. Towing produces higher stride rates and increases stride length more effectively than downhill sprinting and high-speed cycling. There are various methods of towing. Here, we'll show you towing with surgical tubing. Make sure you use tubing on soft, grassy areas only. Attach elastic tubing to the athlete's waist by a belt. You can attach the opposite end to another athlete or a stationary object, such as a goalpost or tree. The athlete backs up about 30 yards from the partner or object and runs at 3/4 speed until learning to maintain balance and proper sprinting form. After 4 or 5 tries, the athlete should be ready to sprint at full speed. Downhill sprinting is one of the safest, most practical forms of overspeed training and requires no special equipment. Try to locate a 50-meter area with a gradual slope. Steep slopes increase the athlete's chance of falling or overstriding and producing a braking effect. During high-speed cycling, wind resistance, gravity, and body weight are eliminated to allow athletes to complete more revolutions per second than they are capable of on a road bicycle or during sprinting. You should combine this technique with one other method, such as towing or downhill sprinting, to guarantee your athlete's success in increasing stride rate and length. High-speed treadmill sprinting can improve stride length, stride rate, form, speed endurance, and sprinting speed. The treadmill is also an excellent piece of equipment for overspeed training. A good workout to improve stride rate and length is anywhere from 1 to 4 miles per hour faster than their maximum speed. They should complete 2 to 6 repetitions of 3 to 5 seconds each at this speed. Allow a full recovery between each repetition.
So now that we've shown you these training methods, how should you put them to use? Here are some tips for you in shaping your speed training program.
The best approach, as I see it, is for coaches to focus during the off-season period, to test their athletes, identify the weaknesses, and utilize this period to correct those weaknesses and focus entirely on speed improvement.
During the off-season, athletes should alternate weight training and plyometrics every other day, and they should perform overspeed training 3 times a week. The primary objective of in-season speed improvement training is to maintain the gains made during the off-season. Both in-season and off-season speed training programs are outlined in detail in the book Sports Speed, 2nd edition. And finally, here are suggestions for fitting speed maintenance programs into your in-season practice schedule. Commit a small portion of each practice day to speed maintenance or improvement. Assess your athlete's speed at least twice each season to identify weaknesses. Use speed endurance exercises instead of traditional wind sprints. Use weight training and overspeed training once or twice a week to maintain the strength, power, quickness, and speed acquired during the off-season. Use overspeed training once or twice a week, immediately after warming up and stretching. Use plyometric training no more than once or twice a week, on days when athletes perform no weight training. Use plyometric training and strength training at the end of practice, right before the cool down.
Now you know the 5 key areas to emphasize in improving your athlete's speed: quickness and starting ability, acceleration, speed endurance, stride length, and stride rate. You also know how to assess these areas by using the test we've shown. And finally, you know how to improve your athlete's speed by incorporating the training and drills we've shown you in the following areas: strength and power training, sprinting drills, speed endurance training, sport loading, and overspeed training. Good luck in assessing and developing your athlete's speed.
For further information on specific training principles, drills, and programs, order the book Sports Speed, 2nd edition by calling Human Kinetics at 1-800-747-4457 or check our website at www.humankinetics.com. We have many other resources available on related topics, including plyometrics, weight training, flexibility, and body composition.